It's finally happening! Today's official announcement starts with Niantic announcing that they're hosting some real-world and in-game events over the next few months. This is seriously big. So starting with the in-game event, it is the Fire and Ice type event that was leaked earlier this week, and it turns out the leak was pretty much entirely accurate. So, the official announcement says, to kick things off, we'll be hosting the Solstice Event starting on June 13th. This in-game event will feature Fire and Ice type Pokemon, huge XP bonuses for throwing Pokeballs accurately, and discounted lucky eggs in the in-game shop. We pretty much knew all those details. I didn't cover that on the channel, but there it is. Fire and Ice type Pokemon are going to have increased spawns. You're going to get extra XP for throwing nice, great, or excellent throws, so start practicing your accuracy now. And lucky eggs will be discounted in the shop. But now here's my favorite part. Soon thereafter, you can look forward to a new update focused on collaborative group gameplay features that will get you playing Pokemon Go in fun new ways. In preparation for these exciting features, we'll be temporarily disabling gyms for a short period of time. The gym rework. The gym rework is coming soon after the Fire and Ice type event. Soon after the Fire and Ice type event ends. From the leak, we know that that event is supposed to last for 1 week, so that's going to be June 13th through June 20th, which pretty much puts it right in line with everything that Niantic has said. It should be coming right then, hopefully right at the end of the event. We don't waste any time going from the event to the update. But at the very latest, it should be by the end of June, which is so big. We know a little bit more about this gym shutting down business. So first of all, from the Italian announcement of all this stuff, they accidentally put a date in there saying that gyms would be shutting down on June 16th. That date has since been removed, but that gives us a pretty good indication that the gym rework should be coming very soon after the 16th, so possibly even before the end of the event, the gym rework could go live. One of Niantic's community managers on Reddit, Niantic Indigo, answered a question and said that we'll be sure to provide an advance warning for when gyms will be unavailable as we draw closer to the update, but we know pretty much that that's going to be on June 16th. Also, it may be worth noting that when gyms are temporarily disabled, all Pokemon will return to their trainers. Stay tuned for more information. So basically, gyms are going to get completely reset. So I'm expecting some big structural changes that's going to change the way that everything works when it comes to gyms. But we'll find out soon enough. June 16th, those gyms should be shutting down. The gym rework should go live very, very soon after that. The next part of the announcement has to do with the real world events. So I figured I'd come out into the real world to talk about it. Oh, that's what it was. Didn't see that the first time. So the real world portion is that Niantic finally announced the first real sort of in-person real world. Just repeating the same stuff over and over again. It's been a while. Pokemon Go event is taking place in Chicago on July 22nd at Grant Park. That's the first major Niantic official Pokemon Go event that they're putting on. And some information kind of leaked about this a couple days ago, maybe a day or two ago on the Sylph Road, where people discovered permits that someone had requested for a Pokemon Go event. And the capacity for the event that they requested for the permit is the highest possible option when you're requesting permits in Chicago, 12,000 plus. So they're expecting over 12,000 people to show up for this Pokemon Go event, and I will potentially be one of them. July 22nd is actually the last day of a family trip that we're taking to Oregon, and my plan was originally to stay in Oregon in the Pacific Northwest after that. But now I might have to reconsider the logistics, maybe go up there early, fly from Portland, from Portland to Chicago, and then maybe back to Portland to pick up my car.
Boss, can I grab you something to drink?
Just water, please.
Got it.
I decided to sit outside because I wanted to reach both Pokestops, but the noise might be an issue. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it, boss.
Anyway, not too much in the way of details yet on the event. The announcement says, join us as we celebrate the Pokemon Go community with a ton of exciting festivities. Tickets and more information for Pokemon GO Fest Chicago will be available at PokemonGoLive.com/fest. I'll put a link in the description if you can't be bothered to type. Those tickets and that information is going to be available on Monday, June 19th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So, if you're interested in learning more and possibly attending the event, make sure you go check it out as soon as possible. I'm not sure how quickly these tickets are going to sell out. They're expecting many thousands of people. So, we'll see. Well, there's not much in the way of official information about Pokemon Go Fest. We can get a little bit speculative. If you take a look at the official Pokemon Go Fest image that Niantic posted, there are a couple interesting things going on here. So, here's the image. Zoom. Zoom. Enhance. Heracross. What's Heracross doing in Chicago? That doesn't make any sense. We know for sure Heracross does not spawn above a certain latitude. Chicago is nowhere near Heracross's normal spawn area. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. I really hope that it's just a mistake and that they're not going to have Heracross available in the area, because that would just kind of ruin the idea of region exclusives, which I've said so many times before. But right above Heracross is another interesting anomaly. It's what appears to be one of Unknown's unreleased Generation 3 forms. Right now we have the 26 forms of Unknown that were introduced in Gen 2. Those are the 26 letters of the English alphabet. But in Gen 3, 2 new forms were added, and they were a question mark and an exclamation point. And they were different than the other 26 forms in that they were the only ones with sort of closed eyelids. You know, looking a little... Sorry. So this Unknown right here, floating above Heracross, looks like it has that sort of closed eyelid and just a little straight line. It looks like it's the exclamation point Unknown, which is currently unavailable in the game, but did get introduced in Gen 3. So going off that, there are a couple possible things going on here. One, region exclusives might be available at the event if you're there in person, which again I think is a terrible idea. 2, Gen 3 possibly. Gen 3 could possibly be launching around this time. It's definitely possible. I've always thought that they would do it sometime around the 1-year anniversary of the game. Hopefully they do it by the end of summer. Although with the gym rework dropping very soon, that could be enough to keep people interested for quite some time. So it's possible that we get Gen 3. I'd say not likely, but I'm still hopeful. And then it's also possible that they introduce these new forms of Unknown as sort of event exclusives, meaning you would only be able to catch those 2 forms if you were to attend this event or future events in person. Or again, it could just be a mistake and someone doesn't really know what's going on and just put the Pokemon there because they like the way they look. Now, speaking of event exclusives, there is also some speculation that this event could be a possible legendary event, that legendary Pokemon might be available for people attending the event. And since they are expecting over 12,000 people, I would assume that they're going to announce something big at the event that's going to make a lot of people want to show up. Now, every time there's speculation about legendary events tied to a specific location, there are also lots of complaints from people who cannot get to those locations. Now, for those of you who can't make it to Chicago, don't worry. We know from Ingress that Niantic tends to hold these events around the world, that this Chicago event is sort of just the first iteration, maybe like their one practice event before they start rolling it out globally. So even if there are legendaries at this Chicago event and you can't make it to Chicago, there will be events around the world in the future. Of course, it's probably going to be limited to major cities, so if you can't make it to a major city in your area, that kind of sucks, but again, this is a real-world game. This is what Niantic is encouraging. They want people to travel, they want people to experience new things, come together, meet new people, so that's kind of just the way it goes in this case. Remember, Niantic's head of marketing, Archit Bhargava, did say that this summer will be legendary, and July 22nd is very, very summer. So, it's definitely possible that Niantic announces legendaries for this event, but we'll have to wait and find out for sure. Again, that information will be available on June 19th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Now, while we're on the subject of events in other locations, the post does continue to say, European trainers can look forward to Pokemon Go celebrations hosted across the continent from June through September in partnership with Unibail-Rodamco shopping centers. Remember, these are the malls that had a ton of Pokestops added. Reversal went to the one in Copenhagen in one of his videos, or a series of videos. So there should be plenty of events across Europe. I don't expect those to be on the same scale as a Chicago event, so anything that gets announced for that Chicago event probably won't carry over to those European events quite yet, but they are taking place at all those malls, tons of Pokestops. I'm sure they'll have them all lured up, and maybe some other stuff. I know they've had events there previously that weren't like huge events, but who knows? This time could be something different. And since my Mr. Mime expedition does fall within that range, hopefully I can check out one or two of those events over there in Europe. And the last bit of real-world event announcements comes from Japan, where Niantic says the Pokemon Company is organizing Pikachu Outbreak, a Pokemon event in Yokohama. And that's something that happens every year, where there's just like tons of costumes, people in giant Pikachu costumes running around. I checked the dates on Pikachu Outbreak, and unfortunately it's during my trip to Europe, so I won't be making it over to Japan for that event. But we should get some details on that eventually, and maybe something exciting will be happening there as well. Alright, hold on. We just got a little bit more information about the upcoming Pokemon GO Fest in Chicago. The official Pokemon website posted a little news article, and they give a little bit of information. So from that article, they say, expect a day filled with Pokemon Go fun and exploration, including live group activities, in-game events, the chance to meet fellow players, and unique challenges for the chance to obtain special rewards. Again, not really saying a whole lot, but gives you a little bit of an idea of the things that they have planned. Special challenges, who knows what that could be, catch a certain number of Pokemon and you get some stickers like we saw for the, or what was that, Charlotte event? Or take a picture of all the Pokestops in the park and get some stickers. I don't know. It could be something small like that, it could be something big. They could finally use this promo code section, so if you complete the challenge, they'll give you a code, you can input that, and get some items in-game. Definitely possible, probably pretty likely. And speaking of promo codes, going back to legendaries, if this is in fact a legendary event, there's probably a lot of worry that spoofers are just going to spoof there and get these legendary Pokemon without actually having to buy a ticket or actually show up in Chicago. But with that promo code system or something similar, Niantic could easily make it so that you actually have to get a code from them in person and put that code in the game to prove that you actually paid to be there at the event. And that way spoofers aren't going to have access to that code, and then they can't take advantage of it. If this is legendaries or it is something big and exclusive, really don't have to worry about spoofers. There are easy ways of stopping them from showing up and taking everything without actually being there. Also, check this out. 2 Houndour right here. I wonder if this tiny little park is a Houndour nest. I mean, they could just be 2 Houndour. I'm not gonna stick around with the camera next to the playground too long to find out though. One last thing before I end this video. Since I did get my King's Rock the other day, I feel like using it. I've been holding on to this 932 CP Slowpoke for so long. So, why not a new Pokedex entry today to top it all off? With all this exciting news, so much big stuff coming for Pokemon Go, I'm super excited for the future, for these upcoming events. Definitely going to try to make it to Chicago. Going to try to check out a couple in Europe when I get out there. There's a Slowking. Not Fire Blast. Confusion Psychic. That's good. Now, with this gym rework coming very soon, like by the end of the month soon, we don't know which Pokemon are going to be top tier, which Pokemon are going to become usable, how the whole thing is even going to work. So that's going to be really exciting. We're all going to figure that out together. And of course, I'll jump back to my roots, trainer tips, the good old days, the early days, and I'll make sure to break down and explain everything as we go, as we learn, as we figure it out. So definitely stay tuned if you're interested in learning how the new gym rework works, what's best, what, just everything. I'll be covering all that. There will be plenty of new information coming on the channel very soon. Now, that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you're excited for the future, and I'll see you after the weekend.